doing? It is August the 11th, 2020. I just got off work. I am right across the street from Burger King. If you can see, you might can see Burger King. So I wanted to give testimony. It's so interesting because I'm studying thoughts. And today at Burger King, I found it so odd because like I said, most of the people that come into Burger King and customers are, in reference to customers, are the Navy. Those that represent the Navy are in the Navy and the Army. Police officers, cops, and then the Spanish speaking. A lot of them look to be from Mexico, El Salvador, possibly South America, just Spanish speaking. The African American, Black, Negro, and then the pale skin. Those are the main groups that come into Burger King to eat. And so, as I was getting ready to walk out of here, I felt sharp pains. Like I was telling you, I know that sharp pains are done by those who have this telepathic code. And then the science of telepathy, that's distributed, and 9 times out of 10 is probably distributed by those military forces that have not taken an oath or affirmed to uphold constitutional law. The Navy and the Army that have not affirmed or taken an oath to uphold these divine laws of freedom. So if they haven't taken an oath or affirmed to uphold laws of freedom, then who's controlling them? You have banks. You have banks that control them that are corrupt, and then that makes them under that foreign jurisdiction. Hold on. So, sir, a Black Negro just walked by and said hello. Usually when I start talking about the Navy and Army, usually a Black Negro will walk by, or if you look, he has a phone to his ear, a cell phone. He's walking. Sometimes they can be from different parts of Africa or whatever. Whoever, there's many people that are in that can be controlled by the military that hasn't taken an oath or affirmed to uphold constitutional law. Many, you have Spanish speaking. They could be in the military that have not taken an oath or affirmed to uphold constitutional laws. Okay, so that means they haven't been naturalized. So they could be from Mexico. They could be from El Salvador, but if the military itself has not taken an oath or affirmed to uphold constitutional laws of freedom, then they're not going to worry about too much if someone who they want to use, or someone else who might be from another country who have not taken an oath or affirmed to uphold constitutional law. And we know as Moorish Americans, you have to claim a nationality. Pale skin, white American is not a nationality. African American, Black American is not a nationality. So what I found interesting today. Let me walk. When I came over here, this woman, she looked to be African American or Black, part right here. So I'm gonna move away from her. I don't know if you can see her car, but she parked right here. And that usually happens too, especially when I told you some of the Black Negroes walk around and start saying something about he loves peace, he loves you, we paid, and this is female and male. I'm not saying she's one of them, but that's usually what happened. And then, or I might start feeling that sharp pain in my left ankle. Once again, the same sharp pain I felt when Khalid Muhammad was speaking about how Annapolis had a high rate of herpes and venereal diseases. So I'm glad I said that so I could tell you what I found interesting today. Lately, I noticed so what I found interesting today is a lot of times the Black Negro would say he's coming in or start attacking my genitals. So one of the things, especially my clitoris, or I start feeling a cessation or attack spiritually of my clitoris. And they keep saying he's coming in while she's sleeping. Who are they talking about? These are spirits I'm walking by. So they're like, he's coming in while she's sleeping. And you know, we're among those beings that can control technologies, or those laboratory experiments with their they can control technologies with their mind. So the tablet has radiation. Okay, the cell phone has radiation. So, and this is predominantly the black, Negro, or African American that would be saying this. And then I hear like rumbling or mumbling all the time outside and around the room, like unnatural. It's unnatural. So if you are constantly, if you're an unclean spirit and you yourself are unclean, you can attack someone constantly. If their blood is acidic, you could cause them to have a irritation, to be affected. And so this is what an unclean spirit will do. And so if you are trying to keep masses of people sick, okay, sick, all right, then that is so that you can amalgamate. Now, if I'm a black Negro and I'm clean, if I'm a black Negro, some Moors like to call these particular species blackies, and I'm clean in spirit, that means I have no diseases. I'm not putting down those that do, because some, it's not to put those that are saying they're less human that do. But if I have no diseases and I am clean in spirit, I'm not going to try to amalgamate. If I'm in a rational state of mind and force myself upon a woman, okay, who you might think is infected. Now, if you think a woman is infected, why would you try to amalgamate with her and force yourself upon her unless you are infected with something or something worse that you think she might have? Okay? And that is the truth. So what they will do is try to, what they call, bring down. This is what I've experienced from unclean spirits. So what they try to do is bring a divine spirit down, so that they can slave breed these unclean spirits with a Moorish American. I told you how I felt like let me lower my voice. I not felt like I could tell that the insects were being manipulated. So if the insects are being manipulated, they can bite you and you can start itching. And then what do you have? You have a skin problem. If these spirits are constantly attacking your genitals, attacking your anus, you got an itch. Or they are causing you to cough. What do you trying to get? You want to be healed. You are walking, you are a productive citizen. Why should you have to experience a spirit forcefully engaging to try to make you sick so you can amalgamate with a robot or something that's not considered human, that's infected with probably something worse than what they're trying to infect you with? And that's keeping it 100. So that's exactly what's going on. So let me continue to communicate what I need to communicate. Many different people, Dwayne Bey, as you know, are in the military, the Navy, the Army. So you have those that look to be from the Middle East. They can be military officers, males and females, pale skin. You have Spanish speaking that are in the military. What I noticed, I found it so odd lately. I never noticed this before, so it must just start happening. I noticed a lot of people that look a lot of Spanish speaking or more Spanish speaking are wearing emblems that say Navy on them. Navy. So why are these emblems, I'm like, gosh, why they seem to be promoting the Navy a lot. So now we are among a coronavirus pandemic. And also I just got through reading an article how President Trump his advisors are trying to lock down on the borders at Mexico. So if you're a resident or you from Mexico, they trying to make sure, they're saying if they think you have the virus, you're not going to be allowed to come back into this country. So if they think you have the coronavirus, they're going to test you to see if you have the coronavirus. And if you have the coronavirus, you're not allowed to come back in this country. So they were speaking, they specifically said this about Mexico. Okay, now what I was thinking about, because it said residents, it said citizens and residents. When you are a naturalized citizen, okay, you have taken an oath and you uphold constitutional law. And this article I just read, Moore posted. It wasn't fabricated. It wasn't his words. This was an article that was written. That they were they haven't started doing it, but definitely they said it was in the plan. Just like the coronavirus vaccine, how they are talking about the coronavirus vaccine, giving it out to the poorest countries first to test it out. They're going to start blocking the borders at Mexico and making sure that the people that come from Mexico don't have the coronavirus. Now, I find that interesting. So, I'm thinking about how I've seen so many Spanish-speaking wearing the Navy emblem. They look to be from Mexico. They could be from El Salvador. I don't know. We don't know them. We don't know anyone here in Annapolis, Maryland, personally. So, anyway, that's another thought I was thinking. Another thing I was thinking about Dwayne Bey is today, this guy that comes into Burger King, he had on a Navy attire, Navy mask. It said Navy. And after him, actually before him, there was a black male. He's a regular. He has the Army emblem on his truck. After he came in to Burger King, I wasn't feeling any sharp pains on my ankle, but I'm not accusing him. After he came into Burger King, he's one of the regulars that I spoke about. He's the one that has Rock Army, the word ROCARMY. I saw him when I would go to the post office, and I saw him when I went to the post office and then when he comes to Burger King. So he came into Burger King, and then as he was leaving, I started to feel sharp pain in my left ankle, the same left ankle that I felt when Khalid Muhammad was talking about how Annapolis had a high rate of venereal diseases. I just got through giving testimony about how my genitals were being attacked spiritually. And then I'm not menstruating, I'm not bleeding, but now I have like a scar on my clitoris. And they keep saying, these spirits talking about how this spirit is coming in on her and possibly her son Imani while they're sleeping. So now I'm going to give you another testimony. So now if the government is cracking down on immigration, possibly, because I was trying to understand, this is another thought. Once again, I will use these thoughts that come to me. Okay, Annapolis has a port. It's a bay where I have to look it up, and I think I'm going to. This black male, he was I was on the bus, and I caught that I went the wrong way. I rode the bus too long, so I had to go by it. It's about 20 minutes from here, and he kept saying how that's where they used to bring the slaves in Annapolis. They used to bring the slaves in Annapolis from that bay, and so that they can slave breed them and work them. Okay, so that thought came to mind. So once again, I was thinking about the immigration and laws and how you have to be naturalized you should be naturalized to uphold constitutional law. Because it's not just, when I hear someone speak about we paid, I can tell that my thoughts are being manipulated. I'm feeling sharp pains. It's not just coming from one entity, but definitely it's interesting to see that the Navy, the Army, or those that imply to be connected to it or the police is not far behind. So if what they're trying to do is implement or crack down on immigration laws, then, because I was trying to understand why so many Spanish speaking, because they too, like I was saying, someone keeps saying I love you outside and around the room. Imani Gray-Bey and I, we don't know anyone that speaks Spanish. We have never been the accent almost sounds like some of the accents that I work with. Like, I'm not saying it's her, but this is the best description. This girl named Naomi, sort of like her accent and other Spanish-speaking accents. I'm not saying it's her. I'm just giving you a description. For instance, this morning when I was about to post the article about Mexico, about President Trump stopping people from coming into the coming on this land mass from Mexico or the jurisdiction from Mexico unless they get tested for the coronavirus. All of a sudden, when I posted that, I heard these Spanish-speaking accents. This was last night, so today is August 11, 2020. I heard these Spanish-speaking accents outside and around the room talking. Now, and then I went to sleep, and then I woke up and it felt like something actually was engaged and caused me to cough. And I can't tell you how many times when my genitals are being attacked or my dreams. So if you are a corrupt military officer or group that haven't taken an oath or affirmed the uphold constitutional law, and you know that the telepathic code, we don't have it, so we can't send sharp pains. But you have many people that have it, and you need to use them to do something, and they don't want to get sent back to their country. They haven't been naturalized. They're gonna do it. So I found it. So this was last night, and I was like, why are these Spanish-speaking accents around that room? Because we don't know anyone. They too be saying "I love you." And I was thinking, and then today I was like, gosh, I'm seeing more and more Spanish-speaking walking around with Navy emblem on their shirts. Like I went to Whole Foods and the lady had on a shirt up under her thing. It said Navy. I was like, I never noticed this before. Why am I seeing this now? So I found it interesting because if you are a part of the military forces, you're supposed to have taken an oath or affirmed to uphold constitutional laws. That includes the 13th Amendment, 20 sections, and all four of Abraham Lincoln's proclamations. You're not supposed to be involved in immigrants trying to stay on this country through mental invasion and then hopefully marrying. Like sometimes I hear them say your son a lot. This is Spanish speaking. They keep saying your son, your son, your son. So if you're trying to stay on this landmass and you haven't been naturalized, a lot of times what immigrants will try to do is marry. And the Navy, the Army, or the police should not be involved in such things if they have taken an oath or affirmed the uphold constitutional laws. And so this is all in connection to illegal organ selling. Because if you are sending sharp pains, you're stalking a woman in the middle of the night, you are doing everything outside of constitutional law. What would you not do? What would you not do? Because you are doing everything outside of constitutional law in reference to slave breeding and amalgamation. So the thought kept coming towards me about the slaves that was brought into Annapolis from that bay. If you have the telepathic code and if you're not demonstrating yourself as a free woman and a free man, for instance, a lot of times the pale skins also say we paid or they attack or that they imply to send sharp pains. So if you have the telepathic code and you are not in constitutional law, you have not, because if you even call yourself white American, that lets you know you have not been naturalized. That lets the government knows that you might be possible that a species of something else, just like the black Negro of a species. Not all that's on that status is a species. The Spanish speaking, not all that are Spanish speaking is a species of something else. But Dwayne Bafabé, they have done experiments. Islam, and you know that there's a reason why they are not in constitutional law. There is a reason why my tablet goes off and my phone goes off. I have to turn it off because someone's outside and around the room manipulating it, using one of these species to do so. Because if this has radiation, they have radiation. And so they are being used as slaves. And then not only that, but to keep enslaving the public. So that's what I was thinking, Dwayne Bafubay. It's nothing cosmic about it. It's nothing galactic. These are just experiments, laboratory freaks that the government put in the population to slave breed. And so I'm going to use this thought. It's definitely, I think it's worth looking up the slave breeding process in Annapolis, Maryland, because I'm pretty sure the military has been there for a long time. And some of those that were involved in slave breeding then, or their ancestors, they involved in slave breeding now. Okay, the descendants of them are still here, and so they already know the techniques that were used for slave breeding. So the first slaves that came to this landmass was the pale skin. The pale skin was the first slave, and then the black Negro, and of course the Spanish speaking. They were slaves in their own lands, and then a lot of them came over here as for freedom and for whatever, for equality, to work, what have you. But if you are over here, then you should be naturalized under freedom. There is no reason why Spanish speakers should be over here on this landmass saying, I paid, we paid, and then start attacking someone's genitals spiritually and mentally, or sending sharp pains, unless they are in that whole cycle of trying to keep masses of people sick and keep them going back and forth in the hospital, keep people on drugs. You got many people who can't handle it mentally, so they smoke cigarettes, they alcoholics, they on drugs. And that's just not, that's just what I see. And so, because they can't handle it. It's too much going on for them. So what I look at when I see those that, and these are pale skins or white Americans, and they could be African American, they could be those that speak Spanish. But what I see is, if you're not able to cope and you overdo certain things such as alcohol, drugs, or what have you, then 9 times out of 10 you're trying to escape from some form of reality. And if you're experiencing sharp pains and you don't want to experience sharp pains anymore, and you keep getting pain relievers, you could get hooked on pain relievers. All the while, a corrupt branch of the military is involved, or someone that's or a corrupt order of the police involved in downloading this to certain people in the population to do so. Because anyone could get a download with that telepathic code. That's all I was thinking about. So I think, Imani Gray and I, we're going to make sure we write a note stating how we don't know anyone personally in Annapolis. It's Moorish Americans, Hebrew Muslims. That's our right. We don't have to get to know no one personally here. We don't have to amalgamate with no one personally here. It's obviously something is very corrupt going on. Like I said, there's no reason why someone Spanish speaking should be around our room, or a black Negro accent, begging. Black Negro accent constantly talking about we love your son, that sort of thing. We're definitely gonna do a note, and we're gonna keep posting it on the internet. No one that pale skin accent shouldn't be down the hall screaming 3. And then I have to give testimony about my thoughts being manipulated. Because if you are in a corrupt order of the Navy and Army, you will do certain things to try to gain access to the mind. Okay? And so not only are they slave breeding, then they're trying to also spread diseases. So it's you have slave breeding, and then you have slave breeding disease, slave breeding where you are definitely slave breeding those with diseases and viruses. You see this white truck? Many times I see a white truck like that when I go to American Extended Stay. So that's all I have to say, Dwayne Bafubay. Well, I'm going to go ahead and head back. Those are my thoughts today in reference to, so it would be slave breeding that still goes on today. I'm pretty sure they use some of the same tactics. They have enhanced it, because now they have given masses of people the telepathic code that Imani Gray-Bey and I reject, and that definitely keeps masses of people in bondage. So the same tactics they used in Annapolis before, they are still using it today, just in a different manner. That's why you have black Negro males. I've noticed black Negro males and females behaving literally, and plus they mix with something else. This species that exists, not all, but too many of them, obviously way too many, exist behaving like animals because they mix them with animals. You got the pale skin, too lovey-dovey with their dogs because they mix them with it. It's in the DNA. It's in that code. The Spanish speaking. Running around saying, he keeps saying I love you, and I walk by like they should know us. Also, I noticed yesterday a Spanish speaking said I want to gain my nationality in Mexico, and kept speaking about Mexico and how they want to have a nationality here. And I was thinking to my mind, see, remember the way back the day when I first came to Annapolis, I kept seeing those that looked to speak Spanish. They look like they're from Mexico. In the middle of the night, we'll be walking back from the temple, and we would hear them speaking Spanish at the gas station. This would be like 1 in the morning, and I didn't understand why would someone be outside talking loud, speaking Spanish like 1 in the morning. And also remember how I gave testimony about me having dreams about some of them invading our thoughts. My thoughts, my dreams in the middle of the night, trying to present themselves as angels. A lot of times when I'm experiencing forced, manipulated thoughts or dreams where they're trying to piggyback, so they're trying to make my thoughts their thoughts, their thoughts my thoughts. That is a Spanish speaking close by with a, it could be from Mexico, whatever, somewhere close by, sometimes with a cell phone in their hand or making a noise, talking. So that is a war tactic. All these are war tactics and acts of terrorism, and they're being used by a corrupt branch of the military and those that are corrupt. In reference to the police. And this is all connected to slave breeding. Slave, S-L-A-V-E, breeding. Imani Gray-Bey, we're going to do our letter today. We don't know anyone personally here in Annapolis. We go to work and we go back. We don't have to know anyone personally here. And that includes the black African American community. Definitely, because they have been one of the most aggressive, all right? Literally like an animal. And that means the pale skin and so forth, because these are definitely acts of terrorism. When you're dealing with telepathy, it's hard to prove acts of terrorism. So many of them rely on gathering up information so they can say you're crazy and have you put in a psycho ward. This is what they have done many times. All the times when people will say they're schizophrenic, it was possibly 9 times out of 10 these spirits that the government was using, their government was using to attack their mind and their spirit, and then cause them to behave outside of themselves. These are war tactics.